Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everyone. This video is intended for the Chingu project managers participating in the voyages. In this video, what we're going to do is take a look at how to set up projects in GitHub to basically use for gathering and organizing your requirements for your particular projects. Now, what GitHub Projects does is it provides a Kanban-style board similar to Trello, and there are other products like Jira from Atlassian has a similar capability. All of these products are very capable. What you'll find is that products like Jira and like Trello are higher end products. They have more features. GitHub is more bare bones. And that's a plus and a minus. Sometimes with more features, you tend to spend more time, or you can fall into the trap of spending more time on setting background photos and colors and typing more text than what is necessary. While you might need those capabilities, again, it's always possible that you may end up wasting time using capabilities and features you really don't need to for your particular project. So again, GitHub is more bare bones. If you want to learn more about Kanban, you can go out to Wikipedia, and essentially Kanban is a manufacturing technique. It was used to plan and schedule manufacturing operations at Toyota in the late 40s. And so you can read all about that here, but essentially these Kanban boards involve placing tasks on boards and then moving the tasks through different lanes of activity. So you'll start out with a backlog of tasks. Basically, those are things waiting to be done. Next, you'll have a column to show what are the tasks that are in progress. You might also have in the case of development, you might have columns showing what tasks are blocked by something. For example, maybe the person who's assigned the task is out on medical leave, so the task can't proceed, so it's blocked. Nothing can happen until that individual returns. The other column you could have is maybe something like testing, where it's no longer in progress. We've finished the coding, now we're in the testing phase. And then finally, once a feature has been it's been coded, it's been tested, it's ready or it's been implemented even, then you move it to the last column, would be something like completed. So again, that's just a quick overview of what the Kanban board is. And we're gonna switch over to GitHub now and take a look at what it looks like. So I'm gonna go into this repo, and you can find the projects within your repo on this project, or in the tab, it'll be labeled projects. So you click on projects. The first time that you do this, your project will not be set up for your repo. So you just very simply, you click on create a project, you give it a name, and a description, and you save it. So now we have a blank project board. So the first thing we'll do is we'll add columns. So again, you just click on add column, and we'll put in backlog. We'll add another column in progress. And to keep it simple, we'll just have completed. Again, the number of the columns represent the phases that a task goes through from its inception until it's completed and installed into your production environment. The columns that you define are purely up to you. And one of the things you'll find is as you work through a project is you'll kind of get to a steady state where you'll find a pattern of columns that really fits your needs. So the first thing we'll do is to add a card. We typically start out in backlog. So we'll add a card or a note in GitHub terminology by clicking on the plus. Now what I've done is created a markdown template. What I like to do is format my cards as what are called user stories. So user stories take the format of as a particular role, a particular type of user or participant in a project. There's something that I want to do, and there's a value statement. If I do this, what does it enable me to do? The other thing that I add to this is who's this task assigned to. So initially it's to be determined typically. So a sample might be as an end user, I want to be assured, or I want to authenticate to the application prior to using it. And the reason you want to do that is so that I can be assured that my data is secure. So we'll add that note. Now you'll note, I kind of hit enter too quick, you'll note that there is a limited amount of text that we can enter into a card. So if I add another one, basically it's you have a limited number of characters to add into a card, which again, it's a plus and a minus. It's a plus in that you have to be GitHub forces you to be very concise and very short in your descriptions. So you need to be very accurate and very terse in your wording. The minus is that it's not always possible to do that, especially as a web developer. Some of our tasks get quite complex. So since GitHub limits you to a number of characters, I want to believe it's somewhere around 140, similar to a tweet. Because of that, you might have to keep your other supporting information someplace else, like Google Docs, or perhaps as part of a GitHub wiki or whatnot. So now that we've created a task, okay, as a PM, over the life of the task, you can move it across these different lanes. And that's as simple as just click and drag. So we've moved that task now to in progress. We can edit the note. To assign it to one of our members of our team. And in this case, when Joe is done with it, we can click it and move it to the completed column. So typically what you'll have is at the start of a project, you'll define a number of backlog items. It's tasks and basically user stories that you need to complete as part of the project. But you don't want to work on all of those all at one time. This is a concept that's called limiting your work in progress, or WIP. You want to focus on just a few tasks at a time. You don't want to overload your teams. So you'll move these into in progress based upon your team, how many your team is capable of addressing or completing in a given sprint. And then as they move to completed, you go into the backlog and you grab another task to assign to, in this case, assign to Joe. So I hope this has been helpful. Again, this is a very, very simple concept. What's hard is coming up with the accurate, granular descriptions of what your tasks are, and to identifying all of your tasks in your backlog. So in any event, I hope this has been helpful, and we'll see you in Slack.